Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Laura for those of you that do not know, and today's video is going to be a romance recommendations video, what's new. But today we're throwing a little bit of a twist into the mix because I am constantly asked, Laura, do you have a good romance book that has this in it, or this in it, or this in it? And there's clearly a lot of really popular tropes that you guys are interested in getting recommendations for. So I thought, why not make a whole video where I give you guys a recommendation based on a favorite trope of one of yours. So on Twitter, I asked you guys what your favorite romance book tropes are, and I based my recommendations off of these tropes. I'm very excited for this video because one, most if not all of the books I'm going to be talking about in this video I've never talked about before, so they're all fresh recommendations, brand new, just for you guys. And second, if this video goes well, if you guys like it, there's like endless amounts of romance tropes, and I also have endless recommendations for these tropes. So if you guys like this, I can definitely do more videos in this kind of style of recommendations. So let me know what you guys think. But I'm just gonna get started. I have like 1 or 2 books per trope to recommend for you guys, mostly one. So if you guys have read them all, amazing, first of all, but I will give you guys more. And if you guys ever tweet me, like, I can usually get you guys a recommendation pretty quick if I see it. But hopefully this video is helpful for you guys who have specific tropes that you're looking for. So let's get into it. I think the #1 trope that people always ask for recommendations for is enemies to lovers or friends to lovers. They're kind of similar. I feel like most of the time it's kind of both, because there's books that are friends to lovers. Those are fun, but I think the more fun ones are people that were friends, had some type of falling out that made them enemies, and then they become lovers. Those are my favorite type of enemies to lovers, friends to lovers books. So the 2 recommendations I have are kind of like a mix of both of the tropes together. The first one is called Room Hate by Penelope Ward. Penelope Ward is one of my favorite romance authors. She writes so many fabulous romance books with one of my other favorite authors, V. Keeland, and also she has some standalones like this one. And this one is just one of my all-time favorites. It's so good. These 2 characters were friends when they were younger. They grew up together. And then this woman that they knew leaves a beach house in both of their names. So as adults, they both go to this beach house during the summer and don't realize both of them are going to stay at it at the same time. And they don't like each other at all, and they have to live under the same roof. And yeah, it's really, really good. If you're an enemies to lovers fan, I think this will definitely float your boat. You'll really like it. The other book I want to recommend for you guys is called Wicked Lies Boys Tell, and this is by Kay Webster, I believe. And this is a gay romance book about 2 best friends who end up having a falling out because one of them tries something on the other one, and the other one's like I'm not gay, like what's going on, like it feels uncomfortable, and their friendship gets kind of ruined for a while. But somehow they find themselves back to each other, and you know, you just gotta read it, stuff happens. But it's really, really good. I love it. It has sort of a similar plot to Him by Elle Kennedy and Serena Bowen, so there's just a little bonus recommendation as well if you want another kind of like friends to lovers, also a gay book, which is really great, one of my all-time favorites. So yeah, those are my enemies to lovers / friends to lovers recommendations. Next trope is teacher student. This one, I have a bunch of books I've read, if I'm being honest, but this one's been my favorite. I just recently read it, and it's called The Unrequited by Saffron Kent. And this book is about a girl that's in college, and she falls for her poetry professor. It's like a creative writing poetry class. And this is also kind of like an enemies to lovers, because they start off not liking each other very much. So kind of like both 2 in 1. But I recently read this, and I've actually really fallen in love with Saffron Kent's books recently. I have more recommendations from her on this list as well. But her books are super fun and taboo and forbidden, and there's always some really good tropes included in her books that I'm a really big fan of. So if you're into forbidden, dark romance, taboo stuff, you'll probably like her. So this one is kind of like teacher student, but she is in college. I don't like high school to teacher student books as much, because a lot of times it's just like not good, I don't know. But I like the college ones because it's a little more like they're older, it's just kind of better in my opinion. So I like this one the best, and I just really loved the characters in it. It was really unexpected. I don't usually love teacher student books, they're not my favorite, but this one I really connected to and I really liked, and I think you guys will like it too. A lot of you guys asked for just like forbidden love, taboo romances, which a lot of these can kind of fit under the like umbrella of forbidden, but for a forbidden recommendation I decided to give give you guys a step sibling book because it's a trope that I find interesting and I tend to like. I've read a few books in the past that are step sibling relationships that I've enjoyed. And a lot of the times, like, people think that sounds so bizarre and weird, but when you read the book, it's like not as weird as you would imagine it to be. In all of the cases where I've read a step sibling book, it's been like they meet for the first time when they're like 17 years old and end up falling in love. It's never like they've been step siblings for 10 years and fall in love. Like, that would be really weird, but it's never like that. Like this book that I'm about to recommend you, it's really not like that at all. In fact, this book really doesn't even focus mostly on the step-sibling relationship. It has a lot other things going on in it, and that is Underneath the Sycamore Tree by B. Celeste. B. Celeste is an author who I discovered over the summer and I grew to love so much. I love all of her books, and this book in particular I read last month and it made me sob. It's a really sad book, but if you're in for that, if you're willing to read something sad, I think it's such a wonderful book, and I just loved it so much. The main character of this book has lupus, which is an autoimmune disease, and I, for one, am not highly informed on autoimmune diseases, especially lupus. So reading the book, I thought it was such a good like representation of the illness that you don't normally see in romance, and I thought it was done so well. So I really love it. It does have the step sibling dynamic in it, but it's more focused on the main girl Emery and her struggles, and it's just a really, really great book overall, and I recommend it to everybody. So definitely check that out. It's a really good one. Yeah. Everyone's asking for a slow burn romance book, and slow burn books are literally my thing. I love them so much. My all-time favorite slow burn, though, it does fall into a bunch of other categories, but it is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. I just love this book so much. It's so good. This is a girl that falls for her boyfriend's dad, which sounds insane. So it's age gap, it's boyfriend's dad, and it's a slow burn. And it's just one of my favorites. I just love it so much. I don't know what it is, but the relationship between the two characters is just so good, and it's so taboo and fun, and if you're into that, I think you'll really, really like it. Or if you're not into that and you want to give something new a try, it's a book that I really enjoy, and I think that anybody could enjoy it, even if it doesn't exactly sound like your cup of tea, or if you're trying to like get into this taboo dark romance-ish, I think you'll like it. But obviously people are still asking for like a boyfriend's dad rec, and I have another one. There is a book called The Doctor by Nikki Sloan. Nikki Sloan is another author that I discovered over the summer, and she has a lot of books, and I read a lot of them over the summer, but this one is a girl that falls for her boyfriend's dad, and it's really fast, quick read, and it was just kind of like a fun one. So if you're looking for something kind of similar to Birthday Girl, I personally think Birthday Girl is way better, but if you're looking for something kind of similar, if you read that already, I recommend The Doctor. It's good. Oh, this trope is one of my favorites. You guys will probably know because it's a trope that is in my own book, Friends, Lovers, or Nothing, which if you haven't read on Wattpad, you should read it down below. But this trope is when people know each other in real life and online and don't realize it's the same person. And my favorite book for that trope is Top Secret by Elle Kennedy and Serena Bowen. This book is so good. It's about these two frat boys, and their rooms are literally next to each other in their frat house, and one of the boys has a girlfriend, and for her birthday he's like, let's have a threesome, like let's do that. So he gets on this hookup app and starts talking to this guy, and the guy's like, okay, like I'm down, I'll do it. But then him and the guy kind of start talking more and more, and he's getting like super infatuated with this guy and like less interested in his girlfriend. And it turns out he lives in the frat house with him, and they know each other, and they're kind of arch enemies. So it's kind of enemies to lovers. Also, they know each other online and in real life, and it's just really, really great. I personally love it so much, and I think you guys will too. It's a really fun one, so I highly recommend it. Next trope on my list is celebrity versus normal girl. So it's like one of them, or I guess the guy is famous and the girl isn't. There's a lot of books that have this trope, but my personal favorite, and this might be controversial, I don't know if it is, but I love books where one of them's a royal. I don't know why, but that's just like one of my favorite things. And there's this book called Royally Screwed by Emma Chase, and it's actually a series. There's multiple books. The guy in the book, I'm pretty sure, is supposed to be becoming king of his country. I don't even know. It's probably a made-up country. And the girl lives in New York City, and she works for her dad's coffee shop that's like going under. And one day he's in New York York and stumbles into her coffee shop, and they have a first terrible meeting, but he's super infatuated with her and like won't give up. Personally, I love this book so much. It was so cute, and I love the royal trope. The Selection by Kira Cass is one of my favorite series of all time. It's a YA series, but I personally just love it so much, and so this was really reminiscent of that, but it was kind of elevated because it was like a romance, an actual romance adult book. So if you like that, I definitely recommend it. If you're into The Selection, you'll probably really like it. And again, it's a series. There's multiple books. One's about his brother, there's one about one of their bodyguards, and one about the queen. So I don't know, I really liked them. If you're into that, I highly recommend it. A lot of you guys were asking for just age gap recommendations, which a lot of the books I've already mentioned do have the age gap element, but one that I read really recently that I so loved so much was Medicine Man by Saffron Kent, who I mentioned earlier. Most of her books like do have age gap. I mean, I've read maybe 3 or 2 that don't, but most of them do. This one included does. It's about this girl that's in like a psychiatric hospital and falls for her psychiatrist, which I know that sounds kind of crazy and like, I don't know, like unethical in a way, but I really liked this book. Like, it actually was so good. It was really unexpected for me to like this book. I don't know. When I read a book from an author that I highly enjoy, it's always my first thing to like go look at all of the other books they have out and just read all of them. That's just what I do. If you look at my Goodreads, I usually read like in clumps of authors. So that's basically what happened with Saffron Kent. And so I was just reading all of her books. In this one, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it as much. I don't know, like we'll see. But it ended up being one of, if not my favorite by her. So I really loved it. It was really taboo but fun, and the age gap element is definitely there. But yeah, he's her psychiatrist at this facility. Kind of crazy, a little weird, a little different, but I happen to really enjoy it. So there's your recommendation for an age gap book. The next book is also age gap, but it's also best friend's dad, and it's another Saffron Kent book, and it's called Dreams of 18. And this one is about a girl who lives next door to this family that moves in. It's a boy and his dad, and her and the boy end up becoming really close unexpectedly. But from the first day that they moved in, she finds herself really infatuated with his dad, and on her 18th birthday she finally makes the move and kisses him in his backyard, and it causes the town to like freak out because her friend and her sister like find them. Oh my god, and he's also a teacher at their school, and so basically everybody finds out that she kissed him and he has to like move away, and then so it's like the story of her like going after him to like fix it. But it was so good, and I just wasn't expecting a lot from this. Again, this was the first book I read by Saffron Kent, I believe, and I ended up really liking it. So it's a good age gap. It's also a little bit taboo because it's like the friend's dad. I read the craziest books, I swear. Like, you guys want these recommendations, I got them. Like, I have so many random books to share with you guys. Okay, one trope that I probably should have already covered is the good girl bad boy trope, and I have 2 series. They're by the same author that I recommend. I don't think a single other author does good girl bad boy as well as this author, and that author is Abby Glines. If you have not read the Seabreeze series or the Rosemary Beach series by Abby Glines, I don't know what you're doing. They're so good. They're so long. There's 9 books in the Seabreeze, and there's 13, yes, 13 in the Rosemary Beach series. They're all about different couples, and I want to say that like 99% of the books are good girl to bad boy stories. Some of them have it kind of reversed, like there's one in Seabreeze where it's like a good boy, bad girl situation, but for the most part, Abby Glines writes good girl, bad boy stories, and they're all really great, and I love them all, and I love being in the universes of her books where you get to see all of the characters throughout the whole series, but the series like switches up which characters are focused on. It's my favorite thing ever. If you've not read these series or these books, you could read them out of order. It really doesn't matter. There's so many great good girl, bad boy stories in there, so I really recommend those if that's something you're looking to read. Yeah, highly recommend Abby Glines always. She's one of my favorite authors. The last trope that I have to share with you guys today, and there was so many more that you guys asked for, so like I need to do a repeat video if this goes well, but the last trope was fake dating, and a lot of people really wanted some great fake dating recs. The truth is I don't have a ton. I have not read a ton of fake dating, despite the fact that it's one of my favorite tropes. I have not read a ton, but the one book that I could think of is called Lick by Kylie Scott, And this is a book I've recommended on my channel before, and it's about a rock star who randomly one night in Vegas marries this random girl, and they wake up together and they both, or she has no idea what happened, he remembers it, and they decide to like keep the relationship going even though they don't know each other at all. So it's kind of like fake dating. And then the rest of the series also has some other fake dating elements. There's like a whole series about the whole band that this guy is in the first book. So it has elements of fake dating, but it's not like To All the Boys I Loved Before fake dating kind of situation, if you know what I mean. So I don't really know. That's my recommendation for now, but my homework is gonna be to find the best fake dating romance books, and I'll get back to you guys because I know that's one that a lot of people want recommendations for. I just don't have a good one right now. So I'm gonna look and I'm gonna find one and I'll let you guys know. But those are all of my book recommendations by you guys' favorite book tropes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If it was interesting to kind of hear about the different books, and if you like this format of recommendation video, please let me know. I would love to do more of them for you guys. I have so many books. I read all day, every single day. It's all I do with my life. So I have so many recommendations for you guys. So I'm definitely going to be sharing more with you in the future. So if you did like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you've not already. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you all very, very soon in my next one. Bye.